Hello, I'm Donald Leggett, and welcome to the latest London South East CEO interview. I'm joined today by Leo Koot, an experienced oil and gas executive who's hoping to be voted onto the Prospex board at the upcoming EGM on the 5th of October. Leo is going to talk us through what his intentions are for the AIM-listed Prospex business. PXEN is the ticker, PXEN. It's an energy business with assets in Italy and Spain. Welcome, Leo. It's been a little while since we talked. Lots happened in that time. It's fantastic to see you.
It is good to see you again, Donald. Glad to be back.
You look very well, Leo, I have to say.
Thanks very much. So do you.
Oh, so do we. Oh, you charmer. Okay, let's start with your interest in Prospex Energy. I would describe it as a sleepy energy company with assets in Spain and Italy. So what attracted you to such a company?
It may be sleepy at the moment, but we're going to make it very exciting. What attracted us is that we were approached by three main shareholders in Prospex Energy. They enjoyed the ride in Zephyr Energy. You may know that story. It's Colin Harrington was approached, then Gordon Stein was approached, and then there was a great opportunity for us to bring the team back together again.
Okay, I suppose the crux of the matter is, why do you feel that you and your team can make a better job of running Prospex?
As you said, it's a sleepy company. It is only non-operated assets and relatively small assets, both in Spain and Italy. We want to create a business of scale, again, similar to Zephyr, which is by now, I think, 60, 70 million.
Yes, Zephyr is just hit 80 million, can you believe?
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes. But why can you make a better job of running Prospex? What have the current management team not particularly done that you might introduce into that business?
The team and the company has shown over the last 3 or 4 years that is purely set up as a non-operated entity. So it's an investment company which takes stakes in oil fields or gas fields in this case in Europe, who is operated by other parties. That automatically means that you have got a buy role, not a leading role in developing and bringing forward ideas and creating new excitement and energy around those prospects.
So what might your plans be for Prospex, and who are the team joining you on the journey? What sort of company do you see it? What's your vision for the business?
I don't want to constrain it too much. I believe the current assets in Italy and Spain, they're gas assets, and with current gas prices in Europe, that they're very good assets to have, and they are a solid foundation. So from there, we will grow with a key focus on ESG. In this current investment environment and operating in Europe, you need to be genuine about what you mean with ESG. So, and I believe the good thing is of ESG, if you do it properly, you do not exclude anything. People think often that oil is primarily a transportation resource and is used to burn in cars and in ships, planes. I believe that oil is a very precious commodity, which is feedstock for the chemical industry, which then creates high-grade materials from it. And nothing goes into the atmosphere. So I believe there is a long future, but you need to play your cards right. Okay.
Talking of playing your cards right, your side is pushed for an EGM on 5th of October. What do you hope the outcome of that meeting might be? How many votes do you need to win? And what would you like shareholders to do?
So what I hope for is that the shareholders support the new team coming in. So that's the key reason and the key focus of the next 20 odd days. I hasten to add that the shareholders did not want to bring this to an EGM. We engaged with the board, with the executives, with the CEO, and tried to collectively come up with a revised strategy. But unfortunately, we didn't make any progress. So that's why we had to push for an EGM.
It's okay. Obviously, you hope for a successful outcome. What does that look like, though? How many votes do you actually need to win?
More than the other team. That's
or is it 50-50? Is it just
it is pretty close at the moment. I think the existing executive and board and the shareholders, they hold about the same. So it's all about the remaining shareholders. Who do they trust and who do they believe will do a better job with the company going forward?
So there's not a 75% bar that you have to be better than, or it's simply majority of shareholders.
This is simple majority. Yes.
Simple majority, fantastic, easily understood. And what sort of relevant oil and gas experience do you and Gordon Stein? I know you're talking about bringing Gordon as well, the old Columbus team. What do you bring to Prospex, do you think?
So let's talk about the team. So it is Gordon, as you mentioned. He's got a strong finance background, more than 30 years experience in the industry. And I haven't met anyone in London who doesn't know him as a good, robust CFO and strong director of a board.
No, indeed, well respected.
He is very well respected. Then we've got Mike Douglas, who also was on the Columbus board. He is a specialist in transitions and making teams work properly together, solving difficult, challenging discussions, which is very useful in the commercial environment. And then our trump card, I believe, is, I need to pronounce the name properly, Stephen Bocelli, and it sounds Italian. He has got Italian parents. He lives in France. He speaks 5 languages, including Italian and Spanish. Plus, he is a geoscientist. So his role in the company is going to be focused on the existing assets and making sure we speak the right language and take the right decisions.
But perhaps the bad news for you guys is that Prospex have put in a new CEO and a new director, I understand. So is there a possibility that they can do a better job than you can? Ultimately, that's what this comes down to. Can you do a better job with your team than the new CEO and his existing team?
I've got a lot of respect for Mark, so I won't talk bad about him. He's a seasoned professional and he's good at his job. The main challenge Mark will have and has is that he's on his own. We bring a ready-made team with deals already lined up. And Mark, he's also conflicted in his responsibilities. You may know that he's a non-executive director with Wargo. Wargo is the operator in Spain. So how can Mark negotiate new commercial terms around the Spanish assets? So we see all sorts of difficult problems which are easy to solve for us, but will become a problem for Mark.
Okay, and what about your suitability for the job, Leo? I've done interviews with you from your Columbus days when you chaired the Oil Producing and Exploring Columbus in Trinidad, for those who can't remember you. So I have to confess, I'm not truly neutral. That said, did you get a sufficiently good deal for Columbus when it merged with Bahamas Petroleum? We talked about this quite a few times on video. Did you get the best deal possible?
There's more questions in that question, but I'll start with the difficult one first. Did we get a good deal for Columbus in the BBC merger? Wholeheartedly, yes. If I take you back to when we started in Columbus, it was a small company close to administration. We managed to clean all the skeletons out of the cupboards. We had a new country entry in Suriname, and we set up the business for the exploration success we had in Saffron. So that ride, if you take it in isolation, was a great, interesting and exciting journey. Timing, however, in the oil and gas industry is everything, because by the time we announced our discovery in the Southwest Peninsula in Saffron, we were hit with COVID and $20 oil prices. So we'd spent our money on drilling the well. with a big discovery, how do you take the company forward? The company was running on fumes, so we decided not to take a big dilutions and give shareholders an opportunity through the Bahamas merger to decide for themselves whether they wanted to ride on the exploration risk of the Perseverance Bahamas well.
Because the Bahamas BPC were well funded, weren't they?
They were well funded, and therefore that was one of the other considerations. The Saffron further drilling was therefore funded as well. So it was a dual solution. So we created further appraisal capital for Saffron, plus we provided an opportunity for CERP shareholders to exit if they wanted.
And moving on, you joined the board of Bahamas Petroleum as part of that BPC deal, but you seem to pop out the other side quite quickly, just when they were in the middle of the Perseverance drill. I thought you were there perhaps to bed in Suriname, to bed in the Saffron well, and just to settle that whole thing down.
Yeah. So you're right. I was there in the board to provide a proper handover. And then after 6 months, that handover was complete. So the Bahamas team, they were completely familiar and on board and actioning on all the outstanding issues and work needed for the whole of the Columbus assets. So that part of the job was done. The more complicated answer is around why I left the board and why I had to sell some shares, because that was the crux. You may remember that in the first part of the Columbus story, the management team and directors, they were remunerated half cash and half shares, and those shares were issued in zero cost options. Later on, all salary was issued in zero cost options. And then at the time of the merger, for me, those zero cost options were converted into shares. So that means the moment you are issued with significant amount of shares, you have a significant tax liability on those shares issued. So I was running the risk of a 30% chance of success on Perseverance. If the penny dropped the wrong way, I would have not had only the losses I had in my shares, but also a tax bill which I couldn't fund from the remaining value of the shares.
So my final question for you, Leo, what's the outlook for Prospex? And in the short term, what would you like shareholders to do next?
So we like shareholders to vote for our new board and share resolutions, and then get ready for an exciting ride. We want to build a company of scale, and importantly, I'm open to have a conversation with any shareholders, either a group of shareholders or individually. We can just set up a Zoom call or Teams, and then I can talk you through what we want to do and how we want to take things forward.
So all this has to happen before October the 5th. I understand you've got a new website coming, newprospectsenergy.co.uk. We'll have that popped up on the screen for you. newprospectsenergy.co.uk. This interview will be in there, but that will allow investors to actually find you and to see what your plans are. But as you say, you're very happy for people to speak to you individually or as a group, yes?
Exactly. So open for the conversation. Keen to have the conversation, in fact, because then we can take any feedback and comments into the direction of the company and the business. So look forward to the ride.
Leo Koot, thank you very much indeed for joining me today. Leo Koot is the prospective new chairman at Prospex Energy. If you wish to comment about the PXEN EGM, then please do so on the London South East bulletin board, or comment on Twitter. Our Twitter account is @London South East. And to get alerts to other influential interviews just like this one, you can subscribe to our London South East YouTube channel. As ever, thank you for watching and do stay safe.